Okay, so Aaron was very, very excited because it was known that the king's birthday was a great day in town. The king used to come with a big procession. There was music. There was a whole orchestra. There were all these soldiers. There was a whole dancing situation going on. And it was like a festive time in town where the king would come out of his palace and he would come inside the town and meet with the regular people on his birthday. And even greater than that, it was a known thing that on the day of the king's birthday, you took a piece of paper, you took a pen, you wrote down the request that you had, whatever you wanted, and you managed to put it inside the carriage of the king. And you get your request fulfilled. And Aaron was so excited because he had so many things that he wanted and he knew the king could fulfill his wishes. So he wrote a piece of paper. He made sure to stand in exactly the right position, that when the carriage comes by, he'll be able to throw something in. And he manages to get it inside the carriage. And he's so excited. This is great. I'm going to have my request fulfilled. It's going to be amazing. Everything's going to be great. I'm going to have a great year. And he waits in the mail, because it was known that the king would send a mail to the person that his request got fulfilled, and he would tell you exactly what you needed to happen and how it's going to happen and when it's going to happen. He never got a letter. He never got anything in the mail. Waiting, nothing. The next year he says, okay, maybe I didn't aim correctly. Maybe I missed. Maybe it didn't go inside the carriage. This year, I'm going to make sure the king's birthday, right by the carriage. I'm going to put it right in there. And he stood and he pushed. He got there 2 days early to make sure that he was one of the first people in the crowd. And he stands there and he waits and he sees slowly the music starts to get louder and louder. The carriage is coming. The dancers, the soldiers, the whole situation with the orchestra. It's getting exciting. He can see it gets closer and closer. He waits till it's exactly opposite him. He takes the piece of paper. He put it into like his, paper airplanes. It's going to fly perfectly. He's been practicing for months to make sure. He puts it in. He sees it goes right inside. He's like, aha, this is it. I'm excited. My request is now going to be fulfilled. This is going to be great. He waits and he waits and he waits and nothing happens. Once again, it doesn't get fulfilled. And he realizes something's going on because other people are making their requests and they're getting it fulfilled. Why is mine not? And he found out that one of the people in the palace of the king doesn't like him. So every single time after the king's birthday, this year, this person would go through all of the notes that the king received, and he would say, no, put it to the side. It wasn't Nagaya. He said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to wait for the king's birthday. I'm not going to wait for the king to come with his carriage. I'm going to go down to the palace, and I'm going to make sure that I get my note in there before the king's birthday even begins. Rabbi say that is a mashal for where we are holding right now in Elul. We could show up to Rosh Hashanah, haba aleinu l'tova, and we can come with all our requests, with all of the things that we need this year. And we all need tons of things. Klal Yisrael needs, we need a lot. And we're going to come to Rosh Hashanah, and we bought ourselves the latest art scroll, machzorim, stories, chizuk. We got a pile of sforim. We walk into the Beis Medrash, we put it down on our seat. All the chizuk in the world. We're ready for Rosh Hashanah, we're ready to go. True, you could do that. You could do that. Or, which is more effective, is you could already start earlier to make sure that your request actually gets in there. Rabbi said that is what Elul is. Elul is our opportunity to speak to the Rabbeinu Shalom before we get to Rosh Hashanah, before we have that. In fact, imagine if you come home and you see on the wall a few cracks. So you're like, I've got to fix those cracks over there. So you get some cement, you get some tar, you get some plaster, whatever it is, and you start filling up the cracks. Come back a couple of days later, more cracks. Like a typical apartment here in Eretz Yisrael, right? Gavaldik, more cracks. I've got to put more plaster in. And eventually it gets more and more and more. And there's cracks all over the walls. And then you start to realize, you know what? Let's stop filling in the cracks. Let's understand that maybe there's a problem with the actual foundation. It comes throughout the year. And we know that we do things that maybe we shouldn't be doing. And we know that we shouldn't be doing them. And we fill this crack, we fill that crack. Throughout the year we're filling up the cracks. It comes once a year where you have an opportunity not just to fill in the cracks, but to actually take apart and reassemble the entire foundation of who we are and what we represent. That's what Elul is. The Heilige Chedush Harim tells us. The Chedush Harim says, and I'll tell you the Lashon, Ki Chodesh Elul Matana Toiva Hu. It's a Matana Toiva, it's a present. The Rabbeinu Shalom gave us a present. What was that present? I'm giving you Elul. Take Elul, it's the greatest present of your life. Because it's the opportunity that you have to come close to the Melech Malchei Hamlochim. Now, of course, the whole year we could do tshuva, and the whole year we can come close. But as the Heilige Baal HaTanya tells us, Melech Besodeh, the Rabbeinu Shalom is mamish found right here. The Rabbeinu Shalom is with us wherever we are, whatever we're doing. It's so much easier to be able to reach the Rabbeinu Shalom in these days than it is the entire year. I want to tell you and share with you a Moedige Kaf HaChaim. The Kaf HaChaim is in Simon Tov Kuv Pei Aleph. The Kaf HaChaim writes in Sikotin Yudalet. He writes as follows, and I quote the Lashon. He says, Sheminyan haraboim yoim Rosh Chodesh Elul ad Yom HaKippurim, the 40 days from Rosh Chodesh Elul all the way until Yom Kippur, Hem keneged ha'arboim yoim shel Yitzira Savlad. The Gemara tells us in Brachas Daf Samach Amud Aleph, the Gemara tells us the first 40 days that the fetus, that the baby is being created, that the baby is being formed, of the most important. Why is it that the Kaf HaChaim says this? What's this, like a nice thing to do? Like, okay, we figured it out, like a gematria, 40 days between Rosh Chodesh Elul to Yom Kippur is correspondent to the 40 days that the Vlad is being formed inside the mother's stomach. Now, what's the shaychus? What's the connection? So many of the Svarim bring this down and they say as follows. The connection is that if anyone knows anything about science, about biology, about how the Neflois HaBoyer, how the Rabban Shem creates this Kavaldigal world, is that the first 40 days that the baby is being formed inside the mother's stomach is of the most crucial. Things that happen every moment during those 40 days of the most crucial. Anything can change anything. And it's so important, those 40 days. Says the Kaf HaChaim, if only we understood that just like, and this Be'etzem comes from the Yaris Tvash, Rabbi Yonis and Eibeshitz. Rabbi Yonis and Eibeshitz brings down in Yaris Tvash, Chelik Aleph, he says, Pshat in the second bracha in Shmoneh Esrei. The second bracha Shmoneh Esrei, Tchias HaMeisim. Zogt the Yaris Tvash, a Moedige Zeh, Mamish Chelik Aleph, Drush Aleph. Zogt Rabbi Yaris Tvash, Rabbi Yonis and Eibeshitz, Shekabolas Tshuva, Mechoite hu gemegedet Tchias HaMeisim. When a person does tshuva, he's a Bria Chadosh, a Lashon of the Rambam, and Hilchos Tshuva also. You're a brand new person. You're not the same person. You're a new person, a new Bria. You're a new created item. And therefore, that's the connection. When a person utilizes Elul, when a person utilizes the 40 days between Rosh Chodesh Elul and all the way until Yom HaKippurim, he becomes a Bria Chadosh. He's a new person. He's not the same person. He's a brand new Metzias. But you have to makabel it. You have to understand it. You have to appreciate it. You have to realize what you can accomplish on these days of Elul is something that you cannot accomplish the entire year. As we've said many times before in previous years, and as we're going to say many times, tshuva is not like the art scroll translated, which is repentance. That might be one pshat. Tshuva is not repentance. Tshuva comes from the Lashon of shav. Shav is to return. What does it mean to return? To return to where we came from. To return to where we're meant to be. That's what tshuva is. We have these days, the days of Elul, that are so special, that are packed with so much siyata d'shmaya. It's unbelievable. I want to repeat something that I think I say this every year, but this is so gavaldik. This is a Maril. The Maril brings down the following. Says the Maril, do not make early Rosh Hashanah. Don't make early Rosh Hashanah. You know, people make early Shabbos. Don't make early Rosh Hashanah. What's the reason? I don't know if there's a minion in the world that makes early Rosh Hashanah. What's the reason? I want to have an extra long davening. I want to have a good night's sleep so I can wake up early in the morning on Rosh Hashanah morning. Let me make early Rosh Hashanah. I'll makabel early. I'll make kiddush. There's no problem of Sheba Shabbos is to be most that we have on Shavuos. What's the problem? Why can't I make early Rosh Hashanah? Listen to the Maril Rabbi say. The Maril says, you know why you can't make early Rosh Hashanah? Because if you make early Rosh Hashanah, it's becoming Tishrei. You're losing a few moments of Elul. Oh, come on, seriously? Well, I'm losing half an hour. Ooh, wow, what's the big deal? I lost a half an hour of Elul. No, but I got more time in Rosh Hashanah. Zug the Maril, we don't understand the godless of Elul. We don't understand the godless of every moment in Elul. What we can accomplish during these times, as the Heilige Balatanya Melech Basada, the Rabbeinu Shalom, is with us. He's Nimsa, he's here. Avad is with us the whole year. But now even more, he's closer. And he's waiting. Lashon Tshuva, the Rabbeinu Shalom is waiting. If only we knew how much the Rabbeinu Shalom is waiting for us, and he's waiting for our tshuva, and he's waiting for us to return, we wouldn't waste a moment. There was a Yid on the top of the mountain in Switzerland. He took a nice Bein Hazmanim. He went to Schweiz, he went to Switzerland, he climbed to the top. Wald, look at the view. Machaya, Fischerloft, gewaldig. A Yid comes up to him and starts schmoozing to him. But this, which hotel, or the kashrus, or this and that. After a few minutes, like, no. I don't get this the whole year. The whole year I'm in this town, I'm in this city, whatever it may be. I'm in Schweiz, I'm in Switzerland. Don't talk to me now. I'm enjoying the scenery, I'm enjoying the air. Leave me alone. That's what Elul is. The whole year we're busy, we're running, we're doing so many things. Now we have an opportunity to breathe in the air of Elul and to enjoy the moments that we have, that we can get so close to the Rabbeinu Shalom. But we have to try, and we have to realize that the Rabbeinu Shalom is waiting. In December 7th, 1988, there was a devastating earthquake that destroyed one of the sections of Armenia, and over 25,000 people lost their lives in that earthquake. Parents frantically were trying to find their children, brothers and sisters looking for each other, children trying to find their parents. It was chaos, it was a mess. And one of the buildings that were affected in that earthquake was a school of young children. And a whole bunch of young children were there. It was the time of school, the earthquake happened. And all of a sudden, no one knew where the kids are. The place went down, the rubble was all the way under. The parents came running over to the building, those that were alive, trying to frantically find their kids, whatever they could do. You know, trying to maybe take off some of the rubble, take off some of the bricks, something. Got to get my kids are down there. After a few hours, they realized there's nothing to do. It's over. Nothing we can do. It's over. You can imagine the parents' feeling of just walking away. Your child is buried under the rubble over there. But there was so much chaos, there was so much death, it was terrible. But there was one parent that was there who refused to give up. And that parent started taking off brick after brick after brick. And everyone said, okay, leave it, it's enough. I understand, it's your child, I get it, but it's enough. And he refused. Came the night, it was pitch dark. He has a flashlight there, continuing to take off and take off. Okay, come on, you got to go to sleep. It's not good, it's not healthy. The next morning, he's still there. For 2.5 days straight, he is standing by the rubble, trying to locate his child. And after 2.5 days, all of a sudden, he hears the sounds. Papa, Papa. And he hears it from underneath. And he realizes, he gets excited. All of a sudden, the people over there are like, oh, we can hear something. He starts taking off a bit more. What happened was there was a corner of the building that had reinforced cement. And it fell down exactly over this child. So he was protected from all of the other rubble. And eventually they got him out. The police were there. The ambulance services were there. The media was there. It was a huge event. And they brought over the child. They said, how did you not give up? 2.5 days, you couldn't hear anyone. You had no idea that anyone is even looking for you. How did you not give up? And you know what the child said? He said, because my father always told me that whatever happens to you, I will always be there for you. I'll always come and get you. I'll always save you. The Rabbeinu Shalom sees us covered in layers and layers and layers. And we're deep sometimes all the way down. Oh, but the Rabbeinu Shalom says, you're my child, and I'm waiting for you. Wherever you are, whatever you've become, whatever you've done, I'm always going to wait for my child. But we have to just try and utilize the moments that we have during Elul to try and chap whatever we can during this time. A Bacha in Yeshiva told me, when he came back now from Bein Hazmanim, he says to me, he had a certain job, it was a driving job maybe, Efsha, and every job is more geld, still more geld. And he said they arranged to make supper at a certain time, or make dinner at a certain time. But then a call came in. There's another job available. Oh, I better take this one. The supper can wait, right? Food, we can wait for supper. And then it got even later, noch a job. So I heard that, I said, that's unbelievable. That's mamish how we have to feel at these moments. We have time. Avad Rosh Hashanah will speak about Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah has its own gewaldige Meila. But the time before Rosh Hashanah, the time of Elul, the time that we have, as the Maril told us, the precious moments of Elul. Chap, whatever you can. Chatoiv. It's the Lashon HaGemara. Chap, whatever you can. Like when you go to a chasana, says the Gemara, you're only there for a short amount of time, right? In the America, the Shmooze board. And England, I don't know, right? Maybe by you it's different, because Baruch Hashem. Oh, but America, the Shmooze board, right? You got to chap a rein. They're going to take it away soon. It's not going to be there. What can I chap? What can I eat? Zuk the Gemara, chatoiv, grab every moment. Grab every moment of your life. Grab every moment of your Rebbeim, of your Shu'urim, of your Chizuk of Yiddishkeit, of your Tefillah, of your mitzvahs, of whatever it is that you can possibly do. You have to try, Rabbi Isai. Rav Dessler Zatzal once gave a beautiful mashal. He said there was a villageman that never went into a city in his life. He never saw a city. He never saw buildings. He saw shacks. He saw animals. What do you know about buildings? He walks into the city and he sees these skyscrapers. Wow, I never saw such a thing in my life. Why do you have such big buildings? And he goes into one of these buildings, these sliding doors open. He goes in and he says, this is amazing. And then he sees, after the sliding door opens, he continues go in, there's another door that automatically opens. He's like, okay, great, I'll go in this one also. He goes in, little room, door closes, he waits. All of a sudden it goes dark. He's like, oh, what's going on over here? There's banging on the door. The security guard opens up the elevator doors and he says, what's the matter with you? I said, what do you mean? I went inside, it just went dark. He said, well, did you press the button? I said, what? What are you talking about? Zuk of Dessler. Sometimes we go into the room, we go into the elevator, but we just stopped and we just didn't press the button. We forgot to press the button that takes us all the way up. We're in yeshiva, we're in Elul, we're in the makom, we're in the location, but we didn't press the button. We just have to put in that little bit of effort, and we just have to try. The Rebbeinu Shem should give us all siyata d'shmaya, be'ezah Hashem, this gewaldige Elul, with the newest chadshus, that be'siyata d'shmaya, we should all have such a chizuk, we should utilize every moment, and be'ezah Hashem, the Rebbeinu Shem will give us a chasim and a git gebench.